Welcome to another episode of the Spurs Rewind. I'm your host, Joe Garcia, and I'm going to be joined by my co-host here. We're going to be joined by the lovely Vicky Vic. Vicky, how's it going?
Good. Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Wish I could be better. You know, the Spurs are just not playing very well. We're going to get into that. And we're also going to be joined by our other co-host, the lovely John Diaz.
You got a lovely.
I also
Hit me
got to
right
say
in the
that
feels,
too.
Joe.
The lovely
Hit me-
John Diaz.
Yes.
And he is springtime fresh because he just stepped out of the shower to join us. I think you're going. You're using the Axe body spray or something like that.
Back when I remember like being in middle school and it was just nothing but Axe
Oh,
and Curve.
man.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Those middle school locker rooms were rank.
They are, dude. That Axe is like it takes your breath away when you smell it, but not in a good way.
Especially when you had to do like 2-a-days and you were out there in the morning and just all right,
Oh,
rest of the day.
Yeah, that can't mask that
no.
musty
Let's go
smell.
to science and just smelling just bad.
Woo. You know the kids that did take showers, you know, that were embarrassed for PE.
Oh.
Dude, we had I'm not going to name the middle school, but it's on the northeast side and it's a little ghetto. We didn't even have showers. Well, we had showers, but they had the football pads. When it wasn't football season, it was full of football pads, so you couldn't shower.
Oh, Lord.
I don't think that's the case anymore, but yeah.
That's kind of
that was
nasty,
fun.
dude. You just go showing up rank.
That is nasty. Oh gosh.
You
Those are
smell like
some-
wet dog and feet, you know,
Those
hot
are some
Cheetos.
And here's a hint. If anyone knows Northeast Side Middle Schools, it's an outdoor middle school. Like only the hallways are inside. Everything else you're walking outside. So if it's hot and humid, oh man, you're
gross.
gonna get worse.
Dang. Well, that's a show for
I'm
another
like thinking
day.
of the school.
Well, there you
You're
go.
right.
How do you do? Welcome to the Spurs Rewind, where we talk about everything. And we already got somebody watching us. Edward Fowler. Hey, he says, "Hey guys, what's up, Edward? Thank you for watching, by the way." So we're gonna get into this, and we're gonna talk about the Spurs, and they have not been very good lately. They've been pretty bad, you know. Even to start the season, we knew it was gonna be bad, you know, John and Vicky. But I mean, come on, this bad this soon? You know, it's kind of
Yeah.
not really surprising, you know, but you expected a little bit more. You know, currently the
Mhm.
Spurs are sitting at a record of 3-7. I believe they're 13th in the Western Conference. The only teams that they're better than right now in the Western Conference are the 1-9 Rockets, and then below them are the 1-9 Pelicans. Then you have the Spurs. That's not saying much right now. You know, this team isn't looking good. And then we've been without Jakob Poeltl, and then I go and check my Twitter, you know, see what's going on the Twitter line. And what do I see? Coach Bob saying, "We don't know when we're going to get back Jakob Poeltl." Okay, we don't know when we're going to get him back. We can't get him back soon enough because the Spurs don't look very good out there. Then to add insult to injury, we get the latest news. One Jock Landale is also entering, you know, the NBA's safe and healthy health protocols. So I mean, what's going on, man? It's like, were they in the same place together? I mean, what really happened? We don't know. You know, that's kind of their business. But in the absence of Jakob Poeltl, the Spurs have just not played very well. They don't have that go-to rebounder, that interior defender, and other teams are exploiting the Spurs in that, you know, inside the paint. They know this, you know.
Mhm.
And I had already talked to, I think it was Michael and some other people about that, and I said this is exactly what was going to happen. They're going to wind up exploiting the Spurs, and the Spurs right now are a young, inexperienced team. And while they can get leads early in the game, we've seen that they have not been able to sustain them. So what right now we're going to go ahead and talk about the Spurs in the absence of one Jakob Poeltl. John, what can you tell us in the absence of Jakob Poeltl and the way this team has played?
You know, here's the thing with Jakob being out is that you just lost your second best player. But the other issue is he shouldn't be your second best player, which
True.
kind of tells you where the other issues are. Derek White, Lonnie Walker.
He also
hello.
shouldn't be your most consistent player either. One of your best.
Exactly. You know, they paid him the contract, and it's great that he's developed into almost an automatic double-double and he can pass, but that's not what they need him to do. They need him to just be a rim
Mhm.
protector and kind of, you know, facilitate off pick and rolls and stuff. That's about it. And here's the other issue. the Spurs basically have like 33 million in payroll just not playing, and they're mostly bigs. Now Jock is out, Jakob, and then you look at Drew Eubanks, and now Drew Eubanks is kind of like regressed to the point where you're kind of wondering, Zach Collins, save us from your ankle
Yeah.
injury that you haven't played in however long. It's just another domino that keeps just killing this team, and you're just kind of wondering, like, when is it going to stop, and who can save him? Lucas Shamanich would be kind of nice right about now, but I know he's on his Instagram story talking about getting his car tuned about how fast it can go 0 to 60. That's a whole other story. Good luck, Knicks. But I don't even know what to say anymore. It's just, the players that you want to see develop aren't developing, and then the players that are playing well, God bless DeJounte Murray. Hopefully nothing happens to him, because I don't want to see this team if he has to miss any amount of time whatsoever.
I think they should just put him out there in a bubble like Bubble Boy, and just let him play. Don't hurt
I think
him.
they just need to take him to San Fernando and just dip him in the holy water just to be safe.
Prende la vela, Vicky. So Vicky, let's go ahead and let's pitch to you. I mean, what have you thought? In the absence of one Jakob Poeltl, the Spurs just haven't been very good. How important has Jakob
No.
been to this team to start the season?
Super important. I mean, yeah, like John said, I mean, he's been I even think the most consistent player on the Spurs, the best, the go-to, and that really isn't his role. It shouldn't be his role. DeJounte's been great, but other than that, it's like so off and on. And I like, the stuff that you're seeing from Vassell here and there, but he's doing what he should probably be doing as a second-year player, and it's not I don't think it should fall on him. I think really, yeah, everything kind of falls on Derek White, Lonnie Walker. They're just not performing the way they should be. Lonnie was one of the ones that, everybody's had their eye on. I don't think anybody expected Derek to be playing as ineffectively as he's been playing. And then it's concerning, like hearing those statements from Pop. I can't remember if it was last game or the one before when he was talking about Derek just kind of not being there for them. I mean, why? Why is he not playing? What's his issue? There's no injury now that we are aware of, but yeah, to go scoreless the other day, that was just completely unacceptable. And then also just, yeah, Eubanks is really disappointing. Like, I think everybody kind of expected a lot more from
Oh,
him.
come on.
I mean, really, like to be starting
A
and
little
then
more,
just
just a
like
little.
yeah, I mean, he's not dependable at all, honestly. Like, I don't know why they're not playing Thaddeus Young as the big out there because there's nobody else. He's been more effective. He has the better plus minus in most of the games he's been playing as opposed to Eubanks. I don't know what they're doing with that because I think he's starting to get in a rhythm too, and I don't think he's playing enough. And I think Eubanks minutes are being wasted because he's kind of out there just I don't know, playing like a third string player and they're starting him. And I know they're out of options at this time, but it's just it's bad. It is bad. I was really frustrated after the last loss because they have to figure it out. I mean, they have to be able to play without Jakob, who is again, like we said, he should not be their pillar. I don't know. It shouldn't be this bad without Jakob. And it's just kind of like, they were mediocre, sadly, and then it's just like plummeted in the last 3 games without him. So yeah, I mean, it is disappointing and I didn't think they'd be this bad at the start. But I don't know, maybe they can still go up. Maybe there's still hope.
Yeah, but in Drew's
Um,
defense, he's not really a starting center. He's more of just a backup. You put
no,
him
he's
in,
not.
gives you a
Yeah.
couple minutes, then you sit him down again. You bring back Jakob. That's kind of what his role has been. When you're having to start, it's really not something that he's comfortable with. And the same thing I could say is happening with Derek. I think at this point, it's clear to see who your starting point guard really is at this juncture, and that is going to be Dejounte Murray. You start Dejounte, and in theory, it was a great tandem to have Derek and Dejounte on the court at the same time. Now you're seeing a little bit of digression with Derek White's game. I think at this point, Pop needs to go ahead and pull the trigger and put Derek with that second unit because we really do need somebody to help with that second unit. And I think Derek's leadership and his veteran experience would do well with that second unit. So I hope that he makes that transition. I don't think he really will. He's going to kind of roll with what he's got and is going to not be good. Let's put it like that. Even when Jakob does
Yeah.
return, there's really not a lot of balance to this team. And I think that's really what they're missing. Not only the balance, but also the experience. You can go ahead and get 16-point leads, 20-point leads, but you can't
Yes.
sustain them for the full 4 quarters. And then we've seen the terrible third quarter that I think it was John that says that it's been
Yes.
horrible when their third quarters, they've just come and they've just wet the bed bad,
It's
and
so
they
bad.
lose, they relinquish the lead, they make a lot of mistakes. But I think what we're seeing here is really the inexperience of a very young team. I think this is going to be the
Yeah.
normal moving forward. They're going to give you some little flashes of what they're capable of, but it's still a couple of seasons away. They're going to have to build towards that. And I think you're starting to hear more and more of the players kind of tell you that after, the games and their press conferences and whatnot. So let's go ahead and go around here and grade the Spurs right now without Jakob Portal. I'm going to go ahead and give them an F because they look horrible right now in the absence of Jakob Portal. We'll go ahead and go to you, John. What are you going to grade the Spurs as far as them playing without Jakob right now? How do they
Oh,
look?
F. The OKC game is just that's not acceptable
They went
whatsoever.
up by 16
Yeah,
in
it's
that game.
not.
That's pathetic, and they should know better. Against like I know we talked about me and Paul talked about on the Spurs cast last week. I don't remember if it was on the podcast or after because we were just catching up, and I was like, I think they lose to OKC because DJ doesn't play good against point guards that are like that explosive and athletic like Shy, and like just look at the way John Morant torches them, and Shy didn't do anything, and they still lost. F. The
Yeah,
season
totally.
sucks.
I think it can be
Yeah.
summed up in one word, and that's pain. It's going to be painful. So
Painful, painful,
painful,
yes.
yes. So, Vicky, what are you going to give the Spurs in the absence of Jakob Portal? What grade are you handing out to this team?
Sadly, an F also because again, yeah, exactly the same reason OKC really ticked me off because I was like, this is a team I thought going into it, they're pretty matched up, they could match up against them pretty much at the same level. And then you see them develop this amazing lead, which is okay, great, whatever. But they've done that, I don't know, 3 or 4 times already in the short season that we've had so far. And every time they've lost the lead. They've never kept it till the end. Or maybe once, like, I don't know, but they have lost the lead and then they've had like 4 close losses. That is too much. I think even everyone's like, oh, they're growing, but it's too much. When is it just okay? Learn from that. Like, you've had the same situation 3 times already. Here's the fourth time. How do you fix it? It's too much, and I think they're better than it. I think that's why we're all frustrated because they are
Oh, I'm
better than
not.
that, and they are talented, and well, yeah, I mean, I think that they have potential. They really do, but they're not. I don't know if it's because of the rotations, maybe chemistry's not there yet, whatever it is, they are not clicking, and they look like they're, yeah, like, digressing, like, as the season has gone on, they're just getting, like, I don't know, I don't see progress at all,
They are who
basically.
we thought they
Um
were. Let's put it like that.
Definitely who Vegas thought they were, because we
Hmm.
weren't even close with the
Yes,
35 wins, it looked
yes,
like.
I was preaching before the season
yeah.
even started, but nobody was listening. And now I'm like, well, I told you guys, this was going to
I
happen.
didn't think they were this bad. I
Yeah.
mean, I really didn't think they'd be this bad.
Well, I've been here before, and I've seen this same scenario play out time and time again. I mean, I was here before
Yes.
we got Robinson, and I knew, that there was going to be a lot of growing pains. And it doesn't even matter if you go ahead and draft well in the draft and you get a player that will go ahead and help this team. So let's say they draft a big. They really do need a big. They go ahead and draft a big
They
who's
do,
versatile,
they
who can
do.
score, who can rebound, take over games, and be that go to player in crunch time. It doesn't guarantee that they're still going to go ahead and get back to the promised land. While they might improve as far as their wins, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to make the playoffs. And if they do, doesn't mean that they're going to go far. The other part of the team has to catch up to that scenario, and there's still a lot of growth that needs to happen. Let's go ahead and shout out to some of our viewers who are watching. We have M Easy. He says Derek needs to step up. He's the highest paid guy on the team, and he also says Pop needs to stop this Thaddeus Young at center nonsense. I'm going to put it up here on the screen. Uh, what
I don't know.
what
I
did
think
they
it works
sign Jock
sometimes.
Landale for? He says, I don't know.
That's a good
Well,
question,
he's sick
honestly.
now, so I know. No, it is a good question because
Yeah,
he's not playing at all.
you would think he would play, but of course, here it comes the regular season, and they would just
Or
wind
at
up sitting
least send
him.
him to Austin so we don't expect anything. You
Yes.
gave him a guaranteed deal, and he's not
Yes.
even in Austin.
And the kid
Yeah,
looked good. He
exactly.
looked good in preseason.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know what the problem is.
I mean, Thaddeus Young couldn't get minutes, so why are we surprised?
True that.
True,
And
true.
Steve Garrett, who's watching on YouTube, also says Spurs need 2 rebounders. You're preaching to the choir at this point. They like the team they have, and when they have the opportunity to do something in the draft or via trade, they don't pull the trigger via trade. And then in the draft, they wind up getting more guards. So
Guards.
I'm like, come
Oh,
on, guys. And then Haiti
I
B
know.
says Thad needs to be traded to a contender. I kind of feel bad for Thad. He's still
I
got
feel
some
bad
game
for
in him.
him.
He works really hard. He's a savvy veteran. I mean, he deserves some playing time out there. You would think that this Spurs right now, they would want to play a vet, you know, because they're missing some
Yes.
veteran experience out there on the court. We don't have, Rudy Gay. We don't have Patty Mills anymore, so you need some veteran leadership, and you have that, and you just delegate him to the bench. It makes no sense to us whatsoever. M Easy says, I wish they looking to trade for Marvin Bagley the third. I don't think we have the pieces that people want right now, I'll be honest. And Haiti B says, yes, she likes Bagley. So, and then Michael De Leon says, John, tell us how you really feel when talking about the Spurs and
I've got
their
some choice
losing
words if you
ways.
wanna tune into a bonus version, Mike.
And then Peter Antonis is saying, what is he saying? Yes, trade Thad for Jalen Smith. Suns are Bagley King. So people want some moves. They want to see the Spurs win. I
They
get it,
do.
but going back to what
Yeah.
the Spurs need to work on, I mean, it's just fundamentals. It's nothing that needs to
Mhm.
be, you need to go ahead and work on extensively. Just do better every game. Learn from your mistakes, apply that in a real game scenario. You've squandered leads. You play defense really good at certain junctures of the game, but not for 4 full quarters. You make a lot of little mistakes near
Mhm.
the end that loses the games for you, especially when you're starting to cut into the lead. Sometimes they go ahead and they get a lead by 1 point, but it doesn't last long. They just make boneheaded decisions at the end,
They
turnovers,
do. Mhm.
poor shot selection, shooting with too much time left on the clock, not setting up to go ahead and really run the offense. And Coach Pop is just, you know what? He's just going to let them play through this. He said that before. He's not going to bail the team out. He's not going to call a timeout. They need to figure things out on their own. And I commend him for that. But for us, the fans, it's a painful experience. John, what does this team just need to work on just to get back to their winning ways? Because it's been painful to watch.
Talking, I think, on defense is a big one. I don't remember a Spurs team that just on defense doesn't really communicate, doesn't you don't see kind of like pointing out call outs or anything. Very once in a while, especially in the half court, but in transition is where it matters. And in transition is where the Spurs
Mhm.
get killed the most. And there was an example, I can't remember, I think it was the Mavericks game where it was just like Derek's already got his defender coming into the paint. DJ's just sitting there and looks at him, and then guy wide open in the corner, three. And it's just like that's something right there. Where it's like, I got mine, go get yours. Like, just pick your
Right.
spot, get your man, do something. And they just stare at each other like, okay, well, tough.
They look lost.
It's like you're a professional
Yes.
basketball player and you can't just say, I got my guy. You learn that so early on playing
Yeah,
basketball.
as a
Like,
kid.
like Joe and I could go play 2-on-2 right now, and I can tell him who I'm guarding. Like it's not that
Yeah,
hard.
You just
exactly.
point your
And
finger.
exactly. Hey, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm out of shape. He's gonna burn me. All right. Like it's just those little things matter so much. And then I think also to that extent, the communication needs to happen on offense too, because there's a little bit too much of just running around and running into each other and running the defense into each
Yes.
other. And that doesn't work when your guys can't shoot. You don't have shooters to bail you out. Doug McDermott can't take every bailout shot when Keldon Johnson makes a bad play or when Derek makes a bad drive or when DJ turns the ball over because he doesn't have someone to help him out and spread the floor. So it's just talk and I'll be a little happier because hopefully results come from, at least communicating a little bit better. And that was the big thing they said that Thaddeus Young was good at, is that he helps us with accountability and making sure everyone knows where they're supposed to be. So why the hell haven't you gotten better at it? He
Right.
can't, he's already sitting on the bench just looking at you guys like I'm stuck here until God knows when. Like,
They got
do
him stuck
something
in
with these
purgatory,
veterans.
John. It's like he did something bad, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, and then you see him and Pop just laughing on the sidelines every once in a while, like, "We'll get you out of here soon. Don't worry about it. We're just wasting your time." Like,
That
can't get you,
sucks.
can't let you get hurt because if you get hurt, your trade value goes down. But also, you're making too much money, and we don't have anyone to play center. So get your
Yeah.
6'8" ass out there. You can't hit a three, but we also need you out there for that too. So I, I give up. I give up.
Okay, well, Vicky here, you can be the voice of reason for us a little bit. What do the Spurs need to work on to actually start winning? Because right
Um,
now they're 3-7. They don't look very good out there. You've heard what I said. You've heard what John said. What do you got to tell us?
I think a lot of the same. Everything we know, but communication is a big one. Really, like John was saying. I mean, you see so many plays or like opportunities for a rebound where guys bump into each other and sometimes they actually lose the rebound. Like that's just so bad and it's so embarrassing. I don't know how they're not embarrassed that they didn't just call the rebound. And I mean, playmaking is really bad. DeJounte is a good point guard, and I think he was a really great point guard when he had good teammates that were able to run plays that he's, over there calling out and figuring out. But right now, there's like no rhyme or reason to what they're doing on offense. It just feels like people are just kind of moving around, getting to, I don't know, whatever they think is a good spot. And then sometimes just standing there. And it goes back to that, like, ISO ball situation. I don't know. I don't see enough movement. I don't see enough like movement with intent and purpose. They're kind of just running around and going through the motions and not doing anything for the goal of winning, the goal of scoring, or, losing a defender. They just look like they're just out there playing pickup games and like there was no strategy or anything being run. Um, yeah, defense sucks, but I don't see how they're gonna fix that because that's just something that's like, at this point, either they have it or they don't. I don't know. I've never seen a player who just becomes a good defender. And honestly, like, Derek, DeJounte, the ones that have been known to be the good defensive players on the Spurs, I don't think they're performing how they should be on defense. Maybe they're worn out because they're the ones that are being depended on a lot. But they just look so out of sorts. I don't know. I don't even know where they would begin fixing things. I mean, I'm usually very positive, but I think that they started out looking very nice. I'll say that. And maybe a lot of it is because of Pirtle being gone the last few games. But that shouldn't be the case. They should know who they are, their position on the team, what their role is, whether or not you have your starting center. The center. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe we need to
It
get you
is
back in the game again. You can be on the kiss cam again. Maybe we can get a win out of them, you know?
no, they'll have to hold me back. I'll go up there and be like, "Hey, this is what you need to do." But no.
Let's read some of the comments we have. We have Steve Garrett. He says, Pop is not putting the best team out on the court. So this is what we have, a lottery team. And that's what the thing is you see Pop, he keeps on putting out the team that's not going to be a very productive team. So is he low key tanking? With the thumbs up emoji. The little gift that he has.
Yeah, that's
Come
true.
on. Haiti B says it's sad we don't have any good shooters. Is what it is.
That's the
We
big one.
Yeah.
That's
That
the
is a
We
huge
big
did
one.
one.
bring back Bryn Forbes, by the way. So I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah,
He hasn't done
Joe,
it.
don't even.
He hasn't done anything.
Good old barbecue, you know?
It's a family show, Joe. All right.
And let's see what we have here. Peter Atona says, why closing game Doug they never play Doug McDermott when they're closing out, and they need a
Another
shooter.
one.
Yeah.
I
That's
totally
stupid.
agree. Oh
I
my
don't
gosh.
know
Yes,
I
why.
the
don't get that one at
closing
all.
lineup is so out of whack and they haven't switched it up. It has stayed the same. Try something new. They've lost 4 times. If they're in a close game tonight and it's the exact same lineup, I'm just gonna be like, I'm not
You
gonna
gave him
expect
$40
anything.
million. Put him on the floor.
I know,
They're
exactly, and
not
he's
using him.
good. He is good. He's a good shooter.
Oh, I look
I
at
don't know.
Steven Garrett. He says, I have a fever and the prescription is more threes. I got to have more threes. Well, you're probably getting the generic prescription,
So do the
because
Warriors play tonight or anything? Like,
I
right.
know.
And then
What's the
Gregory
move?
Castillo is watching. He says, free throws making them get into the line,
Oh,
gang
that's another
oh
defensive
my
thing.
god,
rebounding. Well, you
That's
see, the
another
problem
thing.
is when you get to the free throw line, you actually have to make the free throws. And right now, the Spurs have not been a very good free throw shooting team.
Where do they
It's pretty
rank?
horrible. They're pretty
Like,
bad. They're pretty
trying to
bad.
see.
I don't have the actual
I
stats in front of me. That's something we'd actually have to ask Paul, but I can almost guarantee
yeah.
you they're going to be near the bottom. They're not very good when it comes to knocking down their free throws. And that, again, close game situations when you're getting fouled, especially in the fourth quarter or the third quarter, like John likes to say, you
Mhm.
could actually, make the game either a lot closer or sustain the lead. But if you're
Or they
not
would have
able to
already
knock down your,
won. Yeah, if they
yeah,
had
so
made their free throws, they could have won, like,
real
half
quick,
the game.
the Spurs are dead last in free throws,
ugh,
70%,
I told
even
you they
behind
were
Houston,
bad.
who's at 70.3.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what Gregory
No.
Castillo said. They rank last at 70%. And that's the thing that I always paid attention to. Every time I look at the box score, I look to see what their free throw shooting percentage was as a team. And it's always horrid. The other teams are shooting way above 70%, and there you go. Not only are they converting from the free throw line, they're also converting on their 3-point shots. They're winning the battle most of the time in the paint in the absence of one
Mhm.
Jakob Poeltl. The Spurs are a small team. It's not rocket science. If you want to go ahead and beat this team, you got to do two things: beat them in the paint, and also stop
And
the
shoot
transition.
threes.
If you get back on
Oh,
transition
well,
defense and stop this team because they like to run, because they're a young team, and you make them a half court shoot, you put them in a half court set situation, it's not going to be long now, because they can't shoot the ball. You don't have anybody that consistently can knock down a mid-range jumper or go ahead and kind of spread the floor a little bit and knock down a three. Oh, we got to go ahead and come out and double team, or we got to guard this guy because he's a very good 3-point shooter. That's not
yeah.
happening. They just sit
It's
back and they're
not.
like, "We're gonna play zone all night. We dare you to knock down a three. You know,
Exactly, exactly.
thrill me." you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's at times that's why the team looks so bad, because they are bad. They're not very good right now. We're looking at a lottery team. We're looking at a lottery team. I'm not mad. I even said this before the season started. I wouldn't be mad if they lose, as long as they learn something from this losing season and they can get a top 5 pick. Let's be honest. If you don't get a top 5 pick in this year's upcoming NBA draft, you might as well go ahead and trade down and maybe get something better in the second round, because there's not very many picks that are worth a damn after the top five. After
Mhm.
five, you're gambling. And that's the thing in the NBA draft lottery. You're going to gamble no matter what. But if you're looking at somebody
Yeah.
who's going to be a franchise changing player, you got to be in the top five. So if they can make that, I'm not mad. I don't think John would be mad. I don't think you would be mad, Vicky. I think John would welcome that. Just, you know what? Just tank.
I would welcome it,
At this
but I
point,
want them to be learning, and that's the thing. I don't see them progressing. Like, I mean, I know, I
That's
guess
on
it's
the
still
coaching
early.
staff. If they're not learning, that's on the
There, yeah,
coach.
and that's, I think, the problem. Like, you don't see anything changing. It's kind of the same rotations over and over, nothing new. I mean, I see a lot of the young guys getting discouraged already, and, like, it's understandable, they're losing, but if they know that their goal is not to win and just learn, they shouldn't be getting that discouraged. I don't know, and they should be
Yeah, do you
playing
know what?
their
They
hearts
shouldn't be
out.
discouraged anyway. You don't wanna be discouraged? Try harder. Play better.
Exactly, play better, like, I don't wanna see those faces like, "Oh, we lost again."
Or Coach Pop
No,
sitting there
just
on the sideline. Coach Pop, do better.
exactly, exactly.
Rip somebody, please. What happened to threatening someone for like you're gonna buy me a new car if you miss another
Yes,
free throw? What happened to
exactly.
that?
You're gonna
Why
buy
can't
me a $500 bottle of wine, you know?
He's such a softie.
you guys paid DeJounte and Derek $30 million combined? Like someone can buy you at
Yes.
least a little Tesla or something cheap. Come on.
Exactly. I don't know why they're not in there in practice. The whole thing, shooting free throws. Like, at this point, that should be the whole thing one of these
We're
days.
not leaving
They
till
just
somebody
shoot
can
free
knock
throws.
2 in a row down.
1,000 down. No, like, 1,000 in a row. Like, I don't know. The mentality just doesn't feel there. They don't feel I don't feel like the dedication. I don't know. They
It's
just
People
hard to
don't.
get up
shit.
when you're losing, Vicky. It's hard to get
What?
up when you're
Yeah.
losing.
Well, yeah.
I,
But
I I honestly though feel bad for Chip England though because it's like
yeah,
he's one guy, and then you
with,
drafted a
like,
bunch of dudes that aren't
can't
exactly
shoot.
like elite shooters, and now he has to work with all of them. And it's like, you look, the Drew Eubanks
That's too
hitting the
much.
corner three on Instagram stories is cool and all, but he's not doing that in the game. I
Yeah.
mean, Derek White's not even doing that in the game. Lonnie Walker's not doing
No.
that in the game. Like, he's only one guy. You still have to put in some of this work somewhere else. Keldon Johnson can't just be standing above the break and let his defender be 8 feet sagging away and be like,
Yep.
well, I'm just gonna
Exactly.
stand here, guys, because I'm trying to spread the floor. You're not doing anything.
They're just standing around. They're going through the motions right
Yeah.
now, and I think this team doesn't have their identity. They're searching for that. They're looking for a lot of things right now, and it's just been pretty
Yeah.
bad, and it's been painful to watch. You know, I know as a fan,
It
it's
has
painful
been.
to watch, and this is something that I had told Spurs fans to expect before the season started. A young, inexperienced team making tons of mistakes, and they're just going to have to work through it. They might get better as the season kind of unfolds, but if you're wishing for this team to do something before, let's say, Christmas, you know, before the end of December, I don't think it's going to happen. Even the All-Star break's going to come around. If they're at 10 wins, that's a big plus to me. 10, 15 wins by the All-Star break.
Mm.
I mean, if they get to 26, that's all they need to do so Coach Pop can finally get the record of the most winningest coach in NBA history. I think it's going to be hard to get to 26 after seeing what I'm seeing right now. You know, I think Vegas was spot on, unfortunately, and you're kind of seeing that play out. I think at this point, it's going to force the Spurs to do one of two things. You're either going to have to trade and try to get better, or just tank, man. You know, just keep doing what you're doing. You don't have to tank, but you don't have to try either.
Just keep doing what you're
You
doing.
don't have to try either. Just keep putting the same tired lineups out
I
there.
think that's what they're doing. I think they are doing
The
Yeah.
that.
worst part about being bad is like when you start looking at the schedule ahead, it no longer becomes what's a winnable game because you start looking at it. It's like,
Yeah.
well, this team is better. This team is better. They can't
Yes.
even beat OKC. That's supposed to be a winnable game, and then
Yeah.
you blow that one, and it's like you start trying. You go down, and you realize, holy crap, there's a lot of games here that they're probably going to lose if they don't. If something doesn't click.
The only teams that they're better
Right.
than in the Western Conference right now are the Pelicans and the Rockets. The Pelicans are 1-10, the Rockets are 1-9, Spurs are 3-7. Those are the only two teams that they're better than in the Western Conference, and that's not saying much.
And the Spurs struggle against the Pelicans, and Zion will be back hopefully by Christmas.
Yes.
So
And they don't do very well against
The
the Rockets either. So
yeah,
yeah.
you have
I don't
that.
know, but then they're also just, like, such an enigma because they can play so well or not so well, but they could pull out a win against the Bucks, and they played pretty well against the Lakers. I don't know if that's really saying much because I don't know how I feel about the Lakers right now, but they played well against these teams that are established and, you know, whatever. Maybe they didn't get the win, but they lose these super close games, and they hung and all this stuff, but I just don't understand how they can be that close and lose every time. I think that's the biggest issue.
yeah.
Just
Inexperience.
getting so close and losing at the
It's
end. Just,
inexperience from your
oh,
younger players. They're not used to being in that situation. That's why
yeah.
veterans always come at a premium because they don't make a lot of mistakes
Yes.
and they have that experience that can help you win games. Right now, we just have some veterans and we have a lot of younger players. Devin Vassell has played really well, but then
He
you look at the
has.
other supporting cast that we have and they're just not very good, which leads me to one of the topics that we're going to bring up right now as we're getting close to ending the show is the Spurs have recalled Josh Primo and Joe Wieskamp from the Austin Spurs. A lot of Spurs fans get excited about this. Me, not so much because they're probably not going to play the kid. I mean, I'd love to see Josh Primo play. It's
Who
exciting.
knows?
Who doesn't want to see the kid ball, But
Yeah,
Coach
he's
Pop is probably going to say, well, we'll go ahead and put you in the fourth quarter when we're down by 20, play for about a minute and 35 seconds. That's
true.
all you get, So basically, that's what that means. Maybe they'll get some reps, they'll get a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes out on the court to do something. Then they'll probably wind up sitting them down again. What is your take on this, John, now that you have Josh Primo and Wieskamp both recalled from the Austin Spurs?
I don't care. I really don't. Unless one of them grew to like 6'9" overnight while they were in Austin, I don't
Right.
care. Like, they're not gonna play. If they do play,
True that.
then thank you, Pop. I will gladly
Yes.
fork over my another $28 to watch League Pass for next month. If you just give me 12 Josh Primo minutes, that's all I want. Or you can even combine Joe and Josh for 12 minutes, and you've got League Pass for another month. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't care at this point because it's just, you know, preferably I'd like to see maybe a little change in the starting lineup tonight, if that's even going to happen. Just move on. Let's let Derek be the sixth
Let's
man.
try it.
Put anybody else in his spot and let's go. But I don't think any of that's going to happen. I
It's
don't
not
think you
gonna
see any
happen.
kind of Spurs moves until maybe after Thanksgiving, if anything. I just feel like they kind of feel like they can right the ship at some point, and maybe the shooting will sort itself out. I don't have any proof of that happening. So until then, I don't care about Josh and Joe being recalled. Like, I just think that's a waste of trip from
So
Austin.
you're not going to buy a Primo jersey, a Fiesta jersey?
If I'm buying a Primo Fiesta jersey, it's definitely not going to be these Fiesta jerseys. I'll tell you that much.
Aw, I love them. I'm
The
so
the
excited.
black Spurs font just ruined it. They needed to keep
I'm
the
glad I'm not the
aesthetic.
only one that feels that way. Definitely no.
I'm
I
like,
wish it
what?
would have been the same color as the number.
How about putting San Antonio
Um,
instead of Spurs? Come on now. That would have
I
been
like the
a lot better.
Spurs.
San Antonio draped across the chest in the old 80s font in the Fiesta
Oh, that
colors.
would have been cool.
Fire.
Like that?
That would have been it.
Like
I would
the
have
way
bought
that it
one.
was arched?
The way it is now, it just looks like I don't know, a hodgepodge of something they slapped together. Look
The
at, and
shorts
we
are
even got
great,
we even
but
got was it the
The
fire
shorts
department
are
coming,
awesome.
to go ahead and
Yeah, I
claim
know.
these jerseys. They're so bad. I was excited
I
about
love
this.
the
I
jerseys.
was excited about the Fiesta jerseys. And then I saw the final product and I'm like, why can't the Spurs just hold a contest and have the fans design the jersey? Let them
Okay,
go
but
ahead
I
and do
think
that.
I remember seeing this. Somebody did design something very close to this, and they kinda just ripped them off anyway. But I do like it. I like the
Nike
white.
ripping people off? What are you talking about?
I remember seeing somebody designing, like, on 2K when you could design it or something like that, and it looked exactly I wish I could go back and find it. It was last year when they were trying to predict what it'd look like, and it looked a lot like this, and I was like when I saw these, I felt like, "I've seen this."
Nike would
So are
never
you
I
going
do
to go
anything
ahead
like
and be
that.
you're going to line up Vicky and you're going to get your Primo Fiesta jersey?
Number 11 is my favorite number, so not this year, not this year. I don't even know who I'll get because I feel like who's gonna stick around? I don't know. I feel like I'm worried.
Just put your last name
I
on
don't
the
know who I'll
back of
get.
the jersey. There
I'll
you
just
go.
put, like
We're getting to
yeah, or
that
I'll put,
point.
like, Parker and, like,
You know
number
what?
9, and
I
that's
got an
it.
idea
Just be
for you.
like
Just put Project Spurs on the back of the jersey. There you go.
No, we gotta get those from Mike. Mike has to make money in the budget for those. We all need a
Yeah!
Spurs Fiesta Project Spurs jersey.
Project Spurs. I
Or
want
I'm
mine
gonna
in
get a text that
Spanish.
says "shut up" right now.
I know.
Mike.
Project on top and then Spurs just regular, like,
There
just
you
a little
go.
thing that says project.
I
Like
like it. Let's make it happen, Mike. Don't be cheap on us now. You know what? He'll get us some, but they're going to be the bootleg ones.
The Walmart jerseys?
Yeah.
Yeah. The ones
Yeah.
that are ironed on, they don't even have any stitching. You can't wash them. You can't dry them.
You can't wash.
Yeah, they'll fall apart.
We could buy the ones from China and then just like do it
Oh, you can't
ourselves.
even get those wet. They'll just disintegrate.
They do. They do
And they always
disintegrate.
smell like children's tears. That's why the dollar store
Oh
smells
my
so funny, because it's a
Oh,
sweatshop,
that's
man.
sad. That's so
They're
sad.
crying, "Oh, I don't wanna do this." Poor kids.
Oh, poor kid.
All right, so
That's
we're
so
gonna go ahead and start
sad.
bringing the show to a close, but I do got some surprises for you because I did insert uh, John's Twitter handle, so we can go ahead and show the Twitter handle for John right now. So if you want to follow John, there it
I don't know where it
is.
is. I can't see it.
It's right below you, man. It says follow John Diaz Twitter at by John Diaz. So make sure you go and follow John. And also, if you want to go
Somewhere.
ahead and follow Vicky, I put hers up there too. Follow Vicky Vix at the Vicky Vix. And you can also follow me, and I put mine up here, Joe Garcia at Two Shots Podcast. And I also have a special one here that's by our sponsor here, DraftKings, which you can go ahead and use their promo code TBPN. Make sure you go ahead and go to the Google Play Store, or for the iPhone users, I don't know what it is. Is it Apple? What is it? The Apple Play Store? What is it called
The
now?
App
The
Store.
App
I think it's just
Store.
App Store.
Yeah, there you go. The App
Yeah.
Store, and download the app from there. I'm not an iPhone person. I just despise iPhone and iPhone products, Apple products in general. Yeah,
Listen out, Joe.
Oh,
not a
no.
fan.
I know.
But you can
My watch
also
is telling me to stand up. Come on.
All I
no.
have. I know. I know.
I'm looking at your
Aw,
iPhones. I'm like, no. For and then for all things Spurs, go to
same.
Project Spurs, projectspurs.com. So you can go ahead and check out all the great things that we have from our, brilliant cast of writers here, our brilliant staff of writers, should I say. And also go ahead and check out what Benjamin Bornstein is going to be cranking out, because I'm sure he's going to be showing us what we should be looking for as far as draft picks in the upcoming NBA draft, because you start looking soon enough, because it's going to be that type of season. So if you want to know who you should keep an eye on, go hit up Benjamin Bornstein on Twitter, and also look for the articles that he writes for Project Spurs. So for John Diaz and Vicky Vic, I'm Joe Garcia. Thank you guys for watching another
Go
episode
Cougs.
of the Spurs Rewind. And like we always say, spread the love, stop the hate, be kind. We're out. Peace.